Hey, my name's Casey. I'm 20 years old and I just bought my very first property here in Indianapolis. And today I'm here with my realtor, Ethan, and we're gonna do a video all about top things you should know as an out-of-state investor, how you can make a good investment, and also examining what this house looks like because Ethan has been here since day one. He's been boots on the ground, doing all the selling, negotiating, just inspecting to make sure this was a good deal. He hasn't seen the property yet and what it looks like, so it's gonna be exciting to explore and just talk about rehab and things we can do to make great decisions when buying out of state.
My name is Ethan Price. I'm Casey's realtor based here in Indianapolis. One of my favorite parts about this journey is almost kind of as an agent, especially investor-focused agent, the counsel role you take on and kind of part of the journey you get to go along with investors. Somebody here like Casey, who is a first-time investor, it's really cool to help. There's a little bit of a training mode to it, but an adaptation of, okay, this is Indianapolis, this is where and why you want to invest in my hometown that I love. And this is a great example of a great first property to invest. It's been super exciting and super encouraging being a part of your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's gonna be exciting. Go check it out. All right, so we're here in the living room, first room when you walk in. Every time I told people that I was investing out of state and I told them it was in Indiana, the first thing they said was, where's Indiana? And the second thing was, why? Why would you invest in a place you've never been before? I don't know anyone from there. Like, what is there to do in Indiana? So yeah, I guess my first question is, why is Indiana a great place to invest?
So the number one aspect is affordability. And even this is actually one of the first conversations. The houses here in Indianapolis are sometimes up to 3, 4, and 5 times less than the cost of some coastal states, specifically like New York, California, Oregon, Washington. Right now we're in Marin County, an average price point here for a house is about $250K, a lot less. The supply of houses for appreciation and good rents where you can cash flow is a lot higher here than your states and markets that have higher price point in houses and affordability. So that would be number one. But outside of that, Indianapolis is a very strong economy, very diverse job market and job growth. Over the next 2 years, like 7.5%. I just saw one, I double checked this morning, 4%. And we're really diverse between pharmaceutical, tech, infrastructure, distribution, etc. People want to live here. Businesses want to invest and have their businesses here.
Yeah, and even as a first-time investor, there were some big things I was looking for in terms of diversity of industry. In the Bay Area where I live is very tech-heavy. If tech goes down, we go down. But out here you have manufacturing, education, medical, so it's very diverse. Even if one industry is not doing as well, the city still moves on. There's also a huge food scene out here, which is pretty cool. We had a lot of foodie adventures on this trip, my mom and I. Crime rate is also pretty important, and Indiana's fairly good. You know, there's not too much crazy things happening here compared to like Oakland, California, for example. I look at population growth. So is the city growing or is it dying? In the last 10 years, it's been going up. It's trending upward. Looking at the data, this place is great. They also have Caitlin Clark. We got a lot of sports teams out here, so
A lot of sports.
I think it's a great place to invest, and that's why I picked this as my first investment property. And what do you think about the living room? Here we are, just,
I mean, look at it.
yeah.
Nice, open. Not my preference as many windows because I do love windows, but we do have some good sunlight coming in. The can lights are nice and it does feel like it gets quite bright. And then I can see a nice little setup, especially for first residents in here.
You were here from day one. Like, there were still the tenants' belongings in here. It smelled in here. There was mold in the fridge. This living room looked like when you first got here.
I mean, there was drawings on the wall, but like you could tell little kids were in here. Some of the floor in here was torn up. Bedrooms had mess. Upstairs, there was an air mattress in one of the rooms. I mean, it really needs somebody to come in and give it some love and take care of it. I mean, there's definitely a lot worse houses that I've been in. So it wasn't crazy, but yeah, I needed some love.
Yeah, and it got that. I've been seeing a lot of new construction all around Indy, but I don't know if those are smart investment decisions.
Here in Indianapolis, or Indiana as a whole, new construction has been behind. There's been a big push for new construction because the supply's been low and the demand's been high for houses and owning houses here. So that's one thing. But then two, when you're doing your research, especially as a smaller time investor, you're like, oh, I'm doing one or a couple deals a year. You're not doing as much research. It's just go follow and copy what other people are doing because they're the ones with all the research and the stats and they know where things are happening and going. And it's like, okay, instead of recreating the wheel, just go follow them. So usually where new construction is going, I mean, your new construction is going to be your higher price point anyways, compared to a 1930s house that's just sitting there and needs some TLC. I like following where new construction is going because I know where the development is going and where people are wanting to live, and they're usually doing a lot more of your upfront research.
When I first started working with you, I really was thinking duplex. The price point stopped me from that, but also the availability, because they're not as common as I thought. So what would you say is the most common house type in Indianapolis within like the 465?
100% single family. We had so much space that Indiana started at the circle all the way and just expanded out and then expand up. Here in Indianapolis, the supply is a lot lower, usually more competition because it's exactly what your thought point is. If I'm gonna buy a house for $200,000, well, I probably should buy one that's 2 doors where I can get 2 rents compared to 1 door. It's a lot riskier with just 1 door than 2 doors. You can diversify a little bit that way, but yeah.
If you're gonna live here,
Exactly.
you're trying to just get that started. In my market, back home, it's crazy expensive. And I've also heard, just as a rule of thumb, the Midwest is better for cash flow.
100%, and that's really due to the price point for a house. For example, one of the rules investors try to use is the 1% rule. I'm trying to get my rental rate, so let's use $1,000 to $100,000 purchase price. And you can find that out here in Indianapolis, where compared to maybe somewhere in California, you can buy a $800,000 house that'll rent for $3,000. And so it's looking the biggest bang for your buck. And so with the lower price point, but the rents are still up high enough to be able to get close to that 1% rule. I mean, on average right now, finding 0.8 to 1% just on the market.
Pretty much everything here passed that rule pretty easily. As an investor, these are just tips and things you guys can use when you're looking at deals and thinking about making a purchase. This house got a lot of work done to it, and one of my favorite parts is the kitchen. So we definitely got to check that out.
Yes.
Yeah. For a lot of people, just in general, I think the kitchen is very important when it comes to, do I want to rent from this place? Because the kitchen, for one, you're cooking meals here, you're hosting people. I feel like so much happens. You want a good kitchen, or else that could be a deal breaker. You know, this is my first property, so I'm still learning a lot. But I think the key is just knowing where to put money to get the highest ROI. Because it's easy to, you know, ooh, I want to put tile in the floor and I want sliding glass doors, the nicest washing machine, and install it. But I don't live here. This is not my forever home. It's important to just remember that, because it's gonna need maintenance. It's gonna get broken.
One of the biggest mindsets you got to look at is it's a business. It's like, oh, I want it nice, I want them to live here, but it's like, okay, it is still your money, it is still your business, it's got to be profitable. Providing the needs, and maybe sometimes going a little bit of above, but making sure you're properly taken care of. Like, they're taken care of. They got a fridge that works and it's clean.
Absolutely. What is the difference between just your average Keller Williams realtor, any like brokerage, versus a realtor who works with investors?
It's just a mindset mentality. An investor is looking at this, like I said, like a business, okay? The bare bones, is it working, is it functioning, or how do I get up to standard par? Not, oh, I'm gonna live here and I need X, Y, and Z to be met. What the needs and wants are between a homeowner and investor are completely different. Now, as an investor, a homeowner outlook is nice to have, but it's very important, especially when looking for an agent, making sure they have the right mindset and focus. So that way there's less barriers, the communication's better, and you already know, they know what you're looking for.
They're looking out for your best interest. You might not fully know what you need and what you don't need, but they do. It's really important to do this right the first time, especially when you're out of state, because you are trusting these people to represent you, and they're your team. He was texting me more than my mom. Like, he was on it. He's like sending me updates all the time. Like, oftentimes I would say, what do you think? Like, I don't know the market like that. And just having that local, reliable source of knowledge, it's gonna be really helpful when you're getting your first property. In your opinion, who are those top players, those top people you need to successfully get this transaction done and handled?
There's really a big 3, and it depends on your strategy and what you're doing and what you're focused on. So it's the agent, okay? Then next is contractor, because he needs to do work. And then third, because he's renting it out, is your property manager, right? And so of those 3, the most important to focus on is agent or property manager, is because these, especially if you have picked the right ones, have the right network. Agent's really good in the short term or in the spurts of looking for and acquiring or selling properties, but property managers really help you, okay, what the prices are, this is the normal type of resident over here, and helping you tailor your strategy and a little more honing and more specific, because they do focus with the residents. And then also upkeeping. I probably put property management actually more important than the agent, just being transparent. Property manager, agents, and contractor.
Let's go check out the upstairs. A lot of work went into this, as I'm sure you remember, and we're gonna walk into one of the upper bedrooms here. When it comes to getting a rental property, what are some things that you look for that means it'll be a good deal?
Really the functionality of the house. It doesn't make common sense to live in. Really, it's just like, I want to live there, right? If you got the location down, it was, okay, you go into the property and look at it. Is this something that's gonna be of demand of people to live in? So like this property, it's a 4-1. If I'm a kid, I want to sleep in the same room as my brother or sister. When I'm a father or a mother, knowing that I have the option to put them in different rooms, I will pay more for that. So definitely the layout of the house, bed, bath, square footage of the house, and how is the kitchen and the living room? Does it have a garage? or how's parking? So this is where the homeowner aspect comes in, and you can take that on, especially as a realtor. So yeah, those are a couple extra things.
Speaking of extra things, the basement is something we did a lot of work on to make this place safe, foundation secure. And yeah, let's go check out the basement. We're here in the basement.
Yes,
Whoa.
with a creepy light.
Okay, that was not there earlier. Will I get cooked if I like fix it?
Oh, that's creepy.
Whoa. Hey, yo.
All right.
Paranormal activity.
We're switching to ghost hunters or whatever.
What does a vapor barrier even do?
Keeps all the moisture out of your house, or helps do that. So like you got all this dirt right in here. You don't want it coming out, and you'll see it a lot of times along these boards. And these old Indianapolis houses from late 1800s, early 1900s, I mean, there's a high chance they're old.
This is a waterproofed wrap right here?
Yes, it is. So I forget the actual technical term for it, but basically the point and purpose of this is, so on the other side of this is just this brick wall, but it's exterior wall. So what happens is when rain's coming down and there's water, you have your drainage systems like your gutters and your downspouts that push the water away. But sometimes it's not good enough. The water still comes in into the basement. It will come through cement. So there's a whole system here. This keeps the water and makes it flow down. And then there's now all this drainage system around the exterior of the foundation, the basement in here, that runs all the water into the sump pump, and then the sump pump gets it out.
And we had to add that sump pump. That was not here originally.
Yeah. This wasn't here. Drainage system wasn't here. Over here. And we're kind of talking about this already. You guys would have loved this on video. It's basically an extra foundational wall because there's dirt back in beside here to keep the dirt from moving. So they put a wall in. Most of these buildings in Indianapolis that were built in the early 1900s, they were just crawl space. And in order to get more space and to like move utilities, and they're like your classic 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square foot. Well, when you're a growing family, you need more room. So what they did was they dig out the basement and as storage or to put appliances. So that's why in a lot of these basements in Indianapolis, you'll see half crawl space basement. And so that's why and you'll see a lot of these Michigan type walls, and they help really for the stability of the property.
How important is foundation when it comes to a deal?
So the foundation is probably the #1 thing you're looking at when it comes to the property, especially these older homes here in Indianapolis. It's literally what the house sits on. So it's stability, the functionality of the house. Like if you don't have a good foundation, your house is gonna crumble. So why would you want to invest in a house that's gonna crumble? You want to have the right team. So one of those people is the inspector, who you have come in and make sure your foundation is good and great. And if there are problems, which it's time here in Indianapolis, because the houses are so old, there is going to be a problem. You work then with negotiations. So we were able to get Casey a discount on this house because the foundation needed a decent amount of work.
I actually mentioned it in my mistakes video. Do not trust sellers to do the repair. One thing I was salty about was I hired an inspector to come, but I was like, here's like $300. Like, go ahead and look. You could still see the mold. Like, they did a really bad job at fixing anything. You came in here and was like, bro, there's water on the floor. Like,
it's like, dude, what'd you do? Like, I'm staring at standing water still. They put the cement coating over, looked like there was a shadow on it. So the darker spots is like where the water came through. So this is now fine because even if water comes through here, it has a drainage system to go down. But there was no drainage system before. And that's what it's all about, finding that win-win.
Cool. So what'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, the transformation's been crazy about how well have you done a job, especially with communicating with your contractor and seeing it come to life. I'm excited to see how you do with getting your first resident in and the continued journey and story of this property.
Absolutely. You've been there since day one and have been a huge part of just getting this property ready to go, getting me connected with a good contractor, doing due diligence and making sure everything looks good. So it's been a journey, but I'm excited to get this thing rented out and get some good people in the neighborhood. How can people find you if they want to work with you?
Yes, so there's a couple different ways. One, you can reach out to me personally. So 317-937-0714 is my phone number. Or you can find me on Bigger Pockets. Just search up Ethan Price and I'm sure you can find me that way too. But yeah, I would love to help anybody that's looking to invest in my hometown.
Absolutely. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and got some kind of value from it. And if you did, feel free to hit subscribe and stay tuned for future videos.